Before I get started with the story, let me give a shout out to Black Indie Dev in Discord for putting this story in there. Well, y'all have no idea who this man is, but let's just put it this way. He has 137 million reasons to smile like he is in this picture. If I were him, I would be showing all 32 teeth. And with what I got awarded, I could go buy me a new set of teeth and smile even harder. But this man's name is Owen Diaz. He used to work for Tesla, and he was just awarded a huge payout for racism that he dealt with while working at Tesla. And when I say huge, I mean huge. I don't think I've seen a payout this big before, but I guess Elon Musk could afford to pay it, or Tesla as the organization, because as you know, Elon Musk, he's not the CEO anymore. But this guy was paid $137 million in a payout because, according to him, he was racially abused every day at the California plant, including being called the N-word while he was working there. He said every day. And apparently it was able to be upheld in court because he won his case. So let's go ahead and see what else they're talking about. Tesla Incorporated must pay nearly $137 million to a black former worker who said he suffered racial abuse at the electric car maker San Francisco Bay Area factory. The jury in San Francisco agreed that Owen Diaz was subjected to racial harassment in a hostile work environment. Diaz's lawsuit described the Fremont, California plant as a hotbed of racist behavior, where he was subjected to daily racist abuse, including the N-word, over a course of 11 months from 2015 to 2016. The 52-year-old contracted elevator operator claimed fellow employees drew swastikas and left racist graffiti around the plant, while he said one of his supervisors drew a person with a black face and a bone in his hair and wrote "boo," short for jigaboo. The supervisor then allegedly told him he couldn't take a joke when Diaz confronted him. Diaz contended that none of his supervisors stepped in to stop the abuse. It's the second time this year a black former employee has won a payout from Tesla in a discrimination suit. Tesla's progressive image was a facade papering over its regressive, demeaning treatment of African American employees, the lawsuit said. Diaz was awarded $6.9 million in damages for emotional distress and $130 million in punitive damages, his attorney Lawrence A. Organ told the Washington Post. It took 4 long years to get to this point, Diaz told the New York Times. It's like a big weight has been pulled off of my shoulders. It's a great thing when one of the richest corporations in America has to have a reckoning of the abhorrent conditions at its factory for black people, Organ of the California Civil Rights Law Group told the Times. It wasn't immediately clear whether Tesla would appeal the decision. An email from the Associated Press seeking comment from Tesla wasn't immediately returned Monday night. If they don't appeal it, then that just basically means that there's undeniable proof that this guy faced racism at the job. And they said this is the second time this year that this has occurred. However, Tesla previously denied any knowledge of the alleged racist conduct at the plant, which has about 10,000 workers. If upheld, the award would be a blow to a company that has been subject to various allegations of workplace problems but requires employees to resolve disputes through mandatory arbitration, which the firm has rarely lost. Diaz, who was contracted through a staffing agency, didn't have to sign an arbitration agreement. In May, an arbitrator ordered Tesla to pay more than $1 million over similar allegations by another former Fremont factory worker. Melvin Berry, age 47, was awarded the discrimination victory by arbitrator Elaine Rushing, a former judge with over 2 decades of experience, after a closed-door proceeding on May 12th. The ruling capped years of complaints from black workers that the electric car giant turned a deaf ear to the use of racial slurs on the assembly line. It was slow to clean up graffiti with swastikas and other hate symbols scrawled in common areas at its Fremont, California plant. Can someone out in California let me know what the demographics is for this Fremont area? The decision in favor of Berry and make it public was described as rare by Cliff Pilevsky, a San Francisco employment lawyer who wasn't involved with the case. Pilevsky told Bloomberg racial discrimination awards are rare, and it seems this was especially hard fought, he said. Rushing was clearly troubled by the facts, culture at the company, and tone of the defense. Berry of Antioch, California, was hired by Tesla in 2015 as a materials handler. He quit less than 18 months later when a supervisor gave him a longer shifts and made him push a heavier cart after Berry complained about being called the N-word. Tesla said in 2017, when Berry's case had just started, that they were absolutely against any form of discrimination, harassment, or unfair treatment of any kind, as every company says, but doesn't really uphold. Look at the situation Facebook was in just recently with that whistleblower. The company said it had fired the people after an investigation in the case, but according to a sworn declaration in that suit, the N-word had been used no less than 100 times, and employees called the plant the plantation or a slave ship. Still, Tesla offered Berry only $148 because he left the job voluntarily. Part of Tesla's evidence is that the case was a letter a supervisor had written of Berry slacking at work. The letter, Rushing noted, had been written by a 23-year-old white man with a high school education supervising the then 43-year-old Berry, who has a college degree. That's very interesting that they wrote that. A 23-year-old individual who's white, who only has a high school education, over a black man who has a college degree. That's very telling. Rushing decried the missive as a classic invitation for serious resentment. Berry said he suffered from insomnia, panic attacks, depression, and anxiety, and had to seek psychological help because he was questioning his sanity. He received $266,278.50 in damages, including $100,000 to compensate for emotional distress of the $1.2 million settlement. Since 2014, more than 145 complaints have been filed with the California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing alleging discrimination at Tesla on the basis of race, age, gender, disability, medical leave, pregnancy, sexual orientation, and national origin. So it seems to me Tesla has a history of racism. And a few of them are coming out of this same plant that you see right here. But I bet you that's not going to stop black people from going to buy a Tesla, though. Most of them probably could care less. I mean, one time it was hard to get a Tesla. Now it seems like almost anybody can get a Tesla now, at least the ones on the low end. But I'm glad this guy, he won his case and he's getting what he deserves. And I don't think Tesla's even going to appeal this. I don't think they're going to appeal it because for what? Like all the evidence is pretty much there. They probably gonna hate they have to pay out that much money, but it is what it is. They shouldn't have been doing what they were doing. And I get tired of these companies saying that we're not this kind of company, we're not this type of company, or we're not that type of company, when it's clear and evident that you are that type of company. Always have been and always will continue to be. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.